Good morning, you beautiful people. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. Welcome to my Gears of War 4 Insane Difficulty Guide. This is Act 3, Chapter 6, Origins. This is interesting. This is one of the best chapters, in my opinion, but there is a couple tricky parts about it. But from here on out, I absolutely adore this game, with one exception of that boss fight that we all know and love. This is a wonderful section of the game, and I love it because it is typical Gears of War, and it's really when we get into the swing of things. It's when we get introduced to a whole lot more enemy types, and it really ramps up in difficulty, and it's just glorious here. So we're gonna explore this facility, and there's a really fun little strategy that will return here a little bit later in the next chapter, in the first chapter of Act 4. But we've got some weapons here. You can get some frag grenades, you can get Nasher, some shotguns. We're gonna run into a Locust weapon cache with hammer bursts and bolt hawks if you want. I of course still have the Memento Mori, but right here you can kick down this door and get all the hammer burst and bolt hawk ammo, and even some incendiary grenades right there on the corner if you would like. I always waste those, so I would rather go with 4 frags than 2 incendiaries and then be left with no grenades. So that's my strategy with that. But this is Origins. We get introduced to what exactly are the Swarm, and we really get the answer to this in the very end cutscene here of this chapter. But I mean, if you're watching this, you're probably in it for the gameplay rather than the story. I mean, why would you play this on the insane difficulty if you're going for the story? It doesn't make sense. But anyway, this is kind of the culmination of anticipation that the entire Act 3 has been building up. We've been building up. What are these? They're not locusts. They're kind of like locusts. They're being transformed in a way, and it's really interesting. The little gameplay stuff behind it. It's a little convoluted. It's a little confusing to me, even still to this day. But I think I have the gist of what exactly happened and what I think they were going for when writing Gears of War 4. But you can see that is a locust shell when in Gears of War 3, when Marcus and everyone set off that bomb that killed all of the locusts. Oh, by the way, if you want to, there's a sniper rifle there. I am better with a torque bow. So, and plus I like it for juvies. Plus there's a section down here that I really like it. Plus I have full ammo with the torque bow. So I'm not gonna switch that out for the sniper rifle. But yes, anyway, I think when we set off that bomb in Gears 3, it did something biologically to the locusts that changed them and made them like crystallize and all that stuff. So this is the first engagement of this chapter, and we're gonna be met with more of these Russian swarm here. They love to get close to you, the grenadiers, these guys. I like to take cover here because it seems to me like this is the most consistent area where the enemies will go after your teammates rather than you. Plus, you just get a good vantage point on all of these guys. You're not kind of, if you're where Kate is or where Dell is, you're kind of out in the open, and every time you pop out of cover, they do shoot you a bunch. And that's still the case here, but it's just a little bit more manageable right here. And this is typical Gears of War. Just pop out of cover whenever you can. Take care of these guys, and watch out for those guys right there. Look at that guy. He's totally rushing. Just as much as you can. Get him there, because he is coming straight for you. He will. They're like Liam Neeson. They're Liam Neeson Swarm. They will find you and they will kill you. so there's that. And I'm totally not the biggest fans of them. And I think they're one of the worst things about Gears of War 4 in terms of enemy types, because they have so much health and there's so many guys shooting at you already. It's just kind of cheap and unfair. Speaking of cheap and unfair, this little thing right here, you're going to get introduced to a new enemy type called the Sion. These are like the boomers or the big thick guys from Gears of War in the original trilogy. But this checkpoint is going to put you right in front of these guys with the jack-in-the-box, with the mulcher. So you're going to want to just sprint behind you right away. Just do it as quickly as you can. And the strategy right here is going to be right here. Now, this is going to take you a long time. This is my least favorite section of this chapter. because it seems very random and unfair. But I do believe I have a way of taking these guys out a little consistently. And what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of backing up for these juvies. And what I'm testing out here, because I'm still not sure if it works. It worked one time before, but I'm not sure about now. I'm taking out my torque bow because you're going to get a huge spawn of juvies with this next spawn of drones. These are going to be regular drones, regular swarm, and this is the strategy right here. This looks so dangerous to me, and I don't like it, but I believe this is the most consistent. What I originally tried to do, especially with this drop shot guy, well, first, as soon as you see the drop shot guy, the magic number is 3 torque bows. 3 torque bows to the chest, it's going to take this guy out. Yes, it's going to be a one shot to the head, but if you can just quickly as you can, I guess the magic number is 4, I guess with the active reloads. So yeah, there you go. 3 or 4 torque bow shots to that guy, take him out, and that's it. Now we've got regular swarm, and we should be okay. However, we are going to get the Liam Neeson swarm. We're going to get the Russian swarm. And that's very dangerous. So what I like to do is I like to just be next to my teammates. Be next to my teammates and hope and pray that those guys don't rush me. Now, what you could do is something that I didn't do in this section, and just stay over to where I was, because as you saw, for the most part, they were distracted by my teammates, but you are going to get that guy. That guy is going to take cover there, so pushing back here, not going to be the worst strategy in the world. And that's about how I like to do it. Take out the Sion, take out the big guy from this little corner section. Once you feel like it's just the swarm, once you feel like it's just those drones, that's when you can kind of push back with your teammates and kind of play it just like you would play a regular Gears of War game. It's a very tricky spot. I'm not pretending like I got that first try. That took me many tries. Even knowing the strategy, even figuring it out, it took me a little while. It's very risky. You are going to get those Russian swarm. You are going to get those swarm that really just push you and push you and push you. And it's very, very difficult. You can pick up that mulcher right there. I didn't, because I just don't feel like it's that worth it to me. But that's something you can definitely do. You can pick up that mulcher, and you can take out some of the enemies, save up some ammo, and all that sort of good stuff here. But it's a cool little quick time thing. You'll see some juvies kind of running in the little air vents above you, whatever, the catwalks above you, whatever it is, and you'll see them right there. But that's the most difficult part of this section, at least in my opinion. We get an odd section with the Pouncer, but that is what it is. It's its own section. It's not really that demanding. I mean, it is demanding, but it's not as tricky, in my opinion, as that first section can be. And speaking of the section with the Pouncer, what I like to do is like to go in here with my torque bow, because the magic number, again, it's going to be 3. And as soon as you get that checkpoint, fall back right here, and you are going to want to try to take out what I like to do is I like to get as many shots on him as possible before the juvies come, and then once he is distracted by my team, I like to take out the juvies as quickly as I can. Now, unfortunately, my teammate was right here, and I thought I could easily get, actually, I think I could get an easy shot with him, and you could easily chainsaw him right there, but I wanted to do this a little bit more legitimately. That's, if you have that section where he pounces on a teammate, take full advantage of that. Take full advantage and take him out. But one of the key things to that engagement is that the juvies, while they constantly respawn, they come in waves. So take out all the juvies and then get as much damage on the Pouncer as possible. That's the strategy, and hopefully you can take them out before the next section of juvies comes, like I did there with your torque bow. So it's a really tricky section. You're probably going to die, but when you do die, you're just sent back right to that section. So it's not like you're losing, 3 minutes of gameplay like you were at the beginning part of this chapter, which is why I think it's a little bit more fair and a little bit more manageable, a little less frustrating. But anyway, this next engagement, it can be taken a couple different ways. I decided, you know what, let's push up a little bit. Let's take our chances. Let's push up here because we're going to be dealing with 2 sniper rifles and 1 regular guy. And it's really not all that difficult of a section. Sometimes they'll explode with juvies. Sometimes they'll get an extra swarm. And look at that guy. Luckily, he gets distracted with my teammates right there. The best thing that I've kind of realized with those guys that like to rush you and push you is just put as many bullets on them as possible, which can be dangerous because we do have other enemies shooting at us. But if they take it seems like if they take enough damage, they will stop rushing you and go to cover or go to your teammates or something else. So that seems to be the logic there. That seems to be the strategy there. But this strategy, you're just picking off these guys' health, and after these guys are taken care of, you'll see it's very standard. Just shoot the snipers. As soon as they're dead, you're going to get a Sion with a drop shot. And what I do is I use the torque bow ammo that I picked up, and I like to take them out as quickly as I can. Now, what I also like to do is something cheeky you can do with all of the Sions is, well, I shot him once there, but when he does this, by the way, that's the coolest animation ever. When he like stomps on the ground and he roars with his arm up like that, it's epic. It's so cool. I love the Sions. They're so cool. But when he does that, he's free. He's free blood. So you can torque bow him 1 or 2 times. And as you saw right there, it's a very effective strategy of taking him out really, really quickly. But the sound design and the artwork for him doing that with the mist, and he just feels epic. He feels like, oh man, this guy's not to be trifled with. It's ironic that that's when he's the most weak, but it's a really fun little animation. I really do like the Sions, and it's really, really cool. But then you've got a typical kind of engagement. Some of these locusts like to push up here. I like to just sit back. This is probably the easiest way to take them out. This little piece of cover here, we've got a juvie that accidentally popped out. Luckily, we don't get any screamers or screechers right there. But yeah, there you go. That was a fun little section. I liked that. A good variety of enemies, good variety. We have a little bit of an angle of cover. That's what I like about my Gears of War games. You start off simple, you get a little bit more complex with enemies, with weapons, with angles of cover. It was really fun. I liked it. But now we get to an even more fun section of the game because we're going to use this loader. Something that I didn't quite like about Gears of War 3. It wasn't quite fun about Gears of War 3 was this loader section, but this, I'm pretty sure, like I haven't encountered all of the different types of enemies, but I'm fairly certain you're invulnerable here. Like there's no way to die, at least I don't think, to die in this loader here. You can stomp on these guys. It's incredibly fun. You hear the crunchiness, the beautiful sound design, all of these juvies, you're just crunching them. You can push them, you can run into them, you can kick them. It doesn't really matter. Your teammates are going to take care of them. But even with the next chapter, you'll see, even with like torque bow guys and other guys, it seems like you just never take a hit. It seems like you never take damage. And look at them just explode in chunks of meat and blood and gore, and it's awesome. And this is a very fun section. Take full advantage of it. I absolutely love it right here. So this last little part right here, you'll take this loader, you'll sprint into this Sion, and it's supposed to demonstrate to you. It's a really cool little set piece that yes, you are pretty much invulnerable here, and you take him out, and you also destroy the loader. Now, if you would like, I'm going to showcase this to you now, because this could be your preference. You could like the drop shot more than the torque bow. So what I'm going to show you is, I believe there's also a collectible here, but in this little garage section right here, I'm sorry, car hole section right here, there is a drop shot right there on the wall, in the little mucusy section right there. I think there might be a collectible in there. I didn't see anything else on the wall, but it's a cute little hidden section away right there. And that's that. It's a fun little section. Now, I believe what's coming up next is a boss fight. If I'm not mistaken, we get introduced to yet another new section. Look, we're in the last chapter of Act 3. We're still getting introduced to new enemies here. We're going to get introduced to, I believe, the Snatcher, which is a less compelling enemy, but he's not necessarily a bad enemy. He has some tricky AI that we can take full advantage of. And he's really not all that bad. So what we're going to do here, I believe, are we right? Am I right in the Snatcher area right here? I don't know what else would be over here. We're going to get some Lancer ammo right here because we are going to need it. But Yes, I am correct. Okay, we are going to be fighting up against the Snatcher. Now, again, with the Snatcher, there's a couple different things about this fight right here, because this fight, he's always going to shoot your teammate. This is kind of a set piece. He's never going to go for you, but that needle that comes from his little scorpion tail, that always is a one-hit kill. And the AI that we're going to take advantage of here is that when he has a teammate in his belly, he's always trying to leave the arena. He's always trying to leave and get away, because that's how you fail the arena. That's how you fail this mission, is he snatches up a teammate and he tries to walk away. He will attack you if you're close enough, but he will never do that little scorpion tail attack at you when he has a teammate. So that's when you're going to want to just fill him up with bullets, as you saw me do right there. I got very lucky with this first section because he took out my teammate, he took out Dell twice in a row. That allowed me to put so many bullets on this guy, because he is a bullet sponge, and that's really what you have to do, is just fill him up with bullets. Now, when he's going after you, you're going to want to run away as quickly as possible, as fast as possible, get him distracted so that he's on your teammates. That is the strategy here. Now, I filled him up with a couple hundred bullets from my Lancer. I had a couple torque bow shots left, so I filled him up. The torque bow is very, very good at taking out these big boss zombies if you are accurate and if you do have those active reloads. But look at that. Whenever you hear that and see that, dodge out of the way and get into cover, because that is a one-hit kill, and voila, there you go. It's actually a more difficult fight than that showed you, but and there is also boom shot ammo right there if you don't want to use torque bow, which is also very viable. I'm not sure how good it is against that boss, but it's definitely an option right there. And right there, I believe when you first walk in, there is torque bow ammo there as well. So you will probably die just kind of getting the fundamentals down of this guy, of how he tracks, how he works. He has a spitting attack when you get too close. He has I believe he can step on you, but he has also that scorpion tail attack that he uses. But just get comfortable with him, get used to him, and you are going to be fighting him a couple more times in the next chapter. But anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. Go to the obvious thing that is totally not Marcus in that pod right there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until the next absolutely beautiful Gears of War morning, I'll catch up with you guys later. And as always, stay beautiful.